Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on using QuickBooks Online to grow your business. I'm Tim Ryan, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County, and I'll be your host. Our presenter today is Caren Schwartz. More on Caren in just a minute. First, some brief information on SCORE. There's over 320 offices and 11,000 volunteers nationwide. We're part of the Small Business Administration. SCORE Fairfield County has 130 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. We offer 3 primary value-added services to small business owners. 1, free one-on-one counseling. 2, educational workshops and webinars, over 150 per year. And 3, extensive resources on our website, including Word and Excel templates to help you build your business plan. SCORE puts on many webinars each month. Look for future events on our webinar calendar at fairfieldcounty.score.org. If you have questions, please use the chat window at any time during the presentation. It is located in the lower part of your screen. Our webinar will end at 1 o'clock to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available on our website within the next couple of days. Now, our speaker. Caren Schwartz is the founder and principal of Time & Sense Consultants, LLC, as well as an associate of 3545 Consulting. She helps legal and other service professionals select, install, and get the most out of their practice management, billing, accounting, and other firm-specific technologies. Caren is an advanced certified pro advisor on QuickBooks and QuickBooks Online, as well as a certified consultant on a number of billing, accounting, and practice management solutions. Welcome, Caren. I'll turn it over to you now.
Hi, thank you for having me today. Do you want to talk a little bit about SCORE first?
No, you can go right into your next slide
Okay.
into the presentation.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of skip over this. If anyone's interested, large number of products that I work on. One of the things you may not know is that the odds against small businesses are very high. 20% fail in the first year, 50% in the first 5 years. But the odds of success go up over 89% if the business works with accounting professionals and follows the advice. And my guess is that these numbers for failure have gone up even more with COVID over the last couple of years. Now, by working with SCORE, you're already taking a step on the road to helping to make sure your business does well. QuickBooks and QuickBooks Desktop Online, or QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online, are programs that can really help you in running your business and knowing how your business is doing to help your business do better. They are, however, different programs. They have a lot of the same features, although there are some differences and features that are in one and not in the other. And they work a little bit differently. So it's important to understand the features of the program and to know what is right for your business. If you decide that QuickBooks Desktop is right for your business, but you really want to be cloud-based, there are options where you can go to a hosted environment and run your QuickBooks Desktop in a hosted environment. And that may, in some cases, be the right solution. QuickBooks Online is not right for everyone. You can switch from desktop to online or online to desktop, but again, it is not something that you want to do regularly. It should be a one-time thing. because there are differences, and every time you switch, you need to run reports and make sure that all of the information translated correctly so that you have correct information, and there's often some cleanup that needs to be done. So it's very important to pick the right solution and then stick with it. But if your needs change and the right solution changes, you can switch. If you want to switch from QuickBooks Desktop to online, or if you've gone to online and need to switch back for whatever reason, working with a pro advisor is definitely a good idea because they have experience and can help make sure that it is a smooth process. If you go out to the web and go to the Find a Pro Advisor site, you will be able to search for a list of pro advisors in your area. Of course, I am a pro advisor and can help you with this. It was mentioned, I specialize in working with legal and professional firms. But if you are not a legal or professional firm and need help with this, you are welcome to reach out to me and I can put you in touch with the right people. Also know that if you purchase QuickBooks Online, if you decide to go to QuickBooks Online, if you purchase it through a QuickBooks reseller, which I can put you in touch with, you get a better deal. If you are using QuickBooks Desktop, be aware that the version that you will buy from most sources like Staples or BJ's or Costco is the Plus version, which is a subscription that must be renewed every year or your database becomes read-only. At this time, QuickBooks Desktop is still available as a non-subscription perpetual version, which is supported for 3 years. But to get that, you have to go through a reseller or through Intuit. And of course, those of us who deal with the program appreciate if you go through us instead of going directly to Intuit. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking at your options. So today we are going to talk about QuickBooks Online. We're going to identify the benefits of using it and help you understand which subscription level might be best for you, because there are multiple versions or levels and you want to make sure you choose the right one. You can go up, you can go down, but it's easier if you choose the right one first. So the first set of benefits are technical. Because it is cloud-based software, you just go to your browser, type in this link, https://qbo.intuit.com, or even just qbo.intuit.com, and the program opens. So anywhere that you are that you have internet access, you have access to your QuickBooks Online data. You also do not need to worry about expensive equipment or network to maintain in order to access. So if you have people in different locations, they can access the data. QuickBooks mobile apps, I really do need to update this slide, I forgot. Desktop apps are no longer available, although if you already had them, you can still use them, but there is the QuickBooks mobile apps that you can run on your phone or your iPad or Android device. It's accessible using multiple operating systems and devices from anywhere, and it is set up with secure encryption, so you don't have to worry about what's on your computer or viruses on your computer or even ransomware on your computer, because your data is not actually on your computer. It is extremely secure, protected, and backed up by Intuit. There are also workflow benefits. Document management is integrated in, so you can upload copies of invoices and attach them directly to the vendor bill that you are putting into the system or are going to pay. This makes it much easier when you are reviewing information with your accountant or there are questions, because all of the information is right there. There is also an ecosystem of apps that integrate with QuickBooks Online that reduce the amount of data entry that you have to do. So Bank downloads and bank feeds has been around in QuickBooks Desktop and in QuickBooks Online, and most people are familiar with that and how that can save you time in doing data entry. But there are also apps that integrate with other things. So for example, there are ones that integrate with accounts payable and accounts receivable to help you in your workflow processes. There are ones that integrate with employee expense reports, or if you are running a online store or accepting orders through other sources, there are apps that will integrate, all of which are designed to reduce the amount of data entry that you have and to give you more power and flexibility. When you are using QuickBooks Desktop, there is what's called an accountant's copy that lets you send information to your accountant so they can review it. With QuickBooks Online, you don't need an accountant's copy. You can actually invite your accountant at no additional charge. You get the ability to invite 2 accountant users. I think it's a little bit more if you're using the highest level version of QuickBooks Online, but for many people, it will be 2. You can invite 2 accountants or bookkeepers, and they have the ability to go in and work in your QuickBooks Online account to do the work that they need to make sure you are on track. Of course, one of the biggest benefits to something like QuickBooks Online or working in QuickBooks Desktop is that you have real-time reports, and that's going to help you to manage your business most efficiently and know your status. And when you integrate your apps and everything is in one place, you have real-time, up-to-date information so that you can make good business decisions based on current information. If you are only updating your information once a month or every few months or every once a year or something like that, or your accountant is not looking over it often and making sure that things make sense, you may be making decisions based on bad information, and that is not helpful to you or to your business. So there are multiple levels of QuickBooks Online, and I have not put in the pricing because the pricing changes periodically, but you can find the pricing by going out to quickbooks.intuit.com/pricing. Remember also that if you work through a reseller, you can usually get a 6-month or a 1-year free 50% discount, which will cut the price for the first year substantially. When you go directly into these online, there's usually a 1 to 3 month discount. So it's one of the advantages to working with a reseller. But the levels are self-employed, simple start, essentials, plus, and advanced. And we're going to talk a little bit about this, but self-employed is really designed for someone who is a Schedule C taxpayer, who is tracking their their personal and their business in the same company file. And you can download your information and you basically say it's personal or it's business, but you can't do a lot of customizing of the chart of accounts or other things. The other versions have a lot more power, especially when you get into essentials and plus, and advanced is the most powerful level. The prices do go up for the different levels, but you get a lot more features and benefits from the different levels. These are some older prices. So, but I'm not showing this for the prices, but I wanted you to see kind of the list of some of the features that are listed here and some of the differences. So they all, have the basic features, but the number of users and then the other things that you can do in it are much more powerful as you go up the line. The advanced is, as I said, the most sophisticated, and it includes some very complex business analytics and reporting that gives you a lot of information, as well as more security, customization, and ability to do batch invoicing and expenses and some other features. So let's first take a look at QuickBooks Self-Employed. As I mentioned, it's designed for Schedule C part-time workers, people who are like Uber and Lyft drivers or running a business and just basically want a way to track their income and expenses. It does have the ability to help you estimate your taxes, run basic reports, but it's really designed to run primarily on your phone, and you do a swipe to categorize the expenses as business or personal. So it is a fairly simplified version of QBO. QBO Simple Start lets you track the income and expenses and capture your receipts. You can run invoices and accept payments and run basic reports, and you can send estimates, but you cannot put in accounts payable. You can pay your vendors, but you can't do accounts payable. So you would write a check to pay the vendor, but you can't put in that I owe a vendor in 6 months or in 2 months, or I have every month I have a payable due to the for my rent or something like that, and I'm going to be and get a reminder for that vendor bill and then go pay the vendor bill. That is not available in Simple Start. It does include one user, and you get 2 accountant users. So your outsourced accounting firm and or your tax preparer. Now, when I say accountant users, just because there's only 2 accountant users, that doesn't mean that only 2 people at the accounting firm can get into your books at a time, because the accountant, if they are a QuickBooks Pro Advisor, has a QuickBooks Online Accountants Edition that lets them give the appropriate access to the people in their firm, regardless of whether you have actually invited them or not, as long as you have invited the accountant. Oops, this one, for some reason, got a little small, but I will read it off to you. QuickBooks Essentials has everything that Simple Start has, plus it has accounts payable. It also has the ability to have multiple currencies and recurring transactions. That is something that happens automatically every month, a rent bill, you know, so anything, a check that you're an EFT that you pay by EFT every month, anything like that. You can track time. You also have unlimited users for time tracking. So even though you only have 3 users, you can have up to an unlimited number of people that are entering their time, and it goes directly into QuickBooks Online without them having to have full access to QuickBooks Online. You can track billable hours by customer. That goes along with the time tracking. You have up to 3 users with permissions, and as opposed to only 20 standard reports in QBO Simple Start, we have over 40 in Essentials. QBO Plus, I find, is the most popular version with my clients. It offers everything in the prior ones, but it also offers class and location tracking. That is a way of breaking out your information in more detail. So if you run your profit and loss and you have, say, 2 locations, you can actually break up the profit and loss statement by the location without creating duplicates of every account on your chart of accounts. So it's a way of getting more detailed levels, as is classes. So you have 2 different ways of breaking information up. Some law firms that I've worked with, for example, use class as a way of breaking up income based on the responsible attorney for the matter. And then location being the offices. But there are other ways of using that depending on your firm. You can also track inventory. Now, this is one of the big differences between QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online. And if you do have inventory, it's one of the things that's very important to take into account if you are thinking about switching. QuickBooks Desktop does inventory based on average cost. So it looks at all of the inventory and it just takes an average of the cost. QuickBooks Online Plus offers inventory tracking, and it does it based on first in, first out, which is a very different valuation method. And if you switch from desktop to QuickBooks Online, your inventory values will change. So it's important to be aware of that. You also have to let the IRS know you are making that change. You can also track your inventory by location and class. We have inventory bundles, which allows you to set up a bundle of items that you sell as a single thing. So when you are making a sale, instead of putting in that, let's say we sell birdhouses, and we also sell a birdhouse package that includes the birdhouse and a pole for the birdhouse and feed to get started. Well, if I'm selling those 3 items, every time I go in and I create an invoice for them, I have to choose each one of those individually. With a bundle, I choose the bundle and it will pull all 3 of those in, or different amounts of all 3 of those if that's what I need. We have the ability to set up projects, which gives you a way to manage information related to your clients. Prepare and print 1099, both miscellaneous and 1099 NECs, is actually in all versions of QuickBooks Online. It used to be only in Plus, but they have added that into all versions. We also have budgets. So if you want to set up budgeting to keep track of how you are doing against your expected budget, you will need QuickBooks Online Plus. We also have what's called two-sided items. So if I buy an item, especially like and this is part of inventory, but if I buy and sell the same thing, or if I, for a law firm, perhaps I have referral fees, and then I also have referral income, and I can use that on both my sales side and my purchase side with only setting up one item. If I am in QuickBooks online lower level, and I want to track both sides of the item in different GL accounts, I have to actually set up 2 separate items. So my list gets much longer. One of the other things that does differentiate the different levels is the amount of items you can have in your list. So the size of your customer list, your vendor list, and your chart of accounts, and all of those lists combined, there are maximums based on the level that you are on. With QBO Plus, you can have up to 5 users, plus you also still get your 2 accountant users. And we have over 65 reports as opposed to the over 40 in QuickBooks Essentials. Now, QuickBooks Online Advanced is most expensive, but it is also very, very powerful. It has unlimited list levels, so as you grow bigger, you have the ability to keep using it. It offers business analytics and insight with some customizable tools and reporting. You can do batch invoices and expenses. You can set up customized security access based on the roles of people in the firm. You do get a dedicated account manager from Intuit to help you. And there is on-demand online training available. Now, that's not to say there is not training available with the other versions. There is, but this is all included in, although there is a lot of great training on QBO Online out on the web, on YouTube. There are a number of people that have created some great YouTube videos. You also can automate workflows with QBO Advanced. So things like reminders to clients if they have invoices that are past due. And QuickBooks Online Advanced includes a backup utility. Now, if you have Simple Start or Essentials or Plus, there are backup utilities in the App Store that you can purchase at an extra cost. With QBO Advanced, the backup is included. And although Intuit is regularly backing up, there are advantages to doing your own backup. For example, if you are going to try and do a big import of data and you want to do a backup before you do a backup before that, if the import is wrong, you can restore back to the prior point. Or if you have a employee that goes in and deletes some things that they shouldn't have, if you have a backup, you can restore. Whereas the backup that QuickBooks Online is doing is basically everything in your system, and they can recover it if something happens to QuickBooks Online, but they don't generally, you wouldn't generally call up and say, gee, can I go back to my database from yesterday? That's not something they're real good at helping. They're necessarily able to do, which is why a backup capability is worthwhile, even though this is an online program. So just a couple of quick examples for which QuickBooks Online you might need. Someone who sells cosmetics at house parties, doesn't keeps track of income and expenses, single user, no inventory, and pays most of their expenses via credit card, so they don't need an accounts payable feature. They might be okay with QuickBooks Online Simple Start. Another example is a dental practice that uses a third-party billing software, so they don't have a lot of billing needs. They're not going to have a very long customer list. They pay most of their bills by check, but they need access for the doctor, for the office manager, for the bookkeeper, and their CPA. Well, Simple Start only includes access for one user, so right away we know that that will not work. But they could use QuickBooks Online Essentials. It includes 3 users, and their accountant would be part of the 2 accountant users that are included. A little bit more sophisticated firm, like an interior design firm that has billable expenses, inventory items, maybe wants to track revenue by designer and needs budgets and time tracking, they would need QuickBooks Online Plus. And if they were growing and had very long customer lists, or long lists of items or anything like that, then they might or want the more sophisticated analysis, or have a very large number of people that need access, then they might want to look at QuickBooks Online Advanced. So now we're going to look a little bit at actually getting into the program. And I'm not going to be logging in a lot just because of going back and forth, but we're going to kind of look at some of the screens and talk about it. Obviously, in a short time period, I can't do a lot of really teaching you QuickBooks Online, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a feel for it. So anybody who wants to test out QuickBooks Online can go to this website, qbo.intuit.com/redir/test drive. Or if you don't remember that, if you just go into your browser and type QBO test drive, you will most likely find the right website. And this will let you actually open up QuickBooks Online and play in a test company called Craig's Design and Landscaping Services. Anything you put in that company will be completely deleted when you exit. So feel free to play around, but it is just as long as you are as long as you are logged in. It does not save any information from one time to another. Now, you also can start up QBO and get a 30-day free test period, but this is a good way to really just start off and see if you like it. QuickBooks Online does recommend using a Chrome browser. So just for your information, that's the best browser to use. If you find you are having issues, for any reason. 2 suggestions. One is try incognito mode, and the other is clear your cache. Those will fix most issues that people experience. When you sign into QuickBooks, you are asked for your user ID and your password. If you want to set up sign in with Google, you can. I don't usually recommend it from a security point of view, but best way is through just setting up a user ID and password. If you have not signed up before, you can click on the sign up button and choose the right level. If you are working with a consultant, they will help you get set up to start with. If you have forgotten your user ID or password, you can click on the little icons to try to recover it. Once you get in, you're going to be brought into the setup wizard. This is designed to help you make the decisions that are right for your company and just get the basics set up. So put in your name, the name of your business. If you've been using QuickBooks Desktop and want to bring in your data, it will give you instructions on how to do that. There are some limitations in the size of your QuickBooks Desktop database that you do have to be aware of. That information is available out on the web, or a consultant can help you with that. Then it asks you for what kind of work that you do and what do you want to do. And this is so that it can help you determine what it thinks is the right version of QBO for you. You can always change whatever decision it makes and make your own choice. But once you get through that, you will be started up with a basic QuickBooks Online company. Now, this is Craig's Design and Landscape, which is the test drive company. And this is kind of what you're likely to see. The screens do get modified from time to time, so yours may look a little bit different than the screenshot that I grabbed, because Intuit is constantly updating the program. But you've got your basic view on your dashboard of what your firm is and how it is doing. Couple of other areas that become important are you have your left toolbar where you can navigate to various areas of the program. You also have a gear icon up in the upper right, which is very important for navigating the program. When you click on the gear icon, you're going to get access to a lot of the different functions that you need for setting up your company. So this is where you see your account and settings, so you can manage the subscription level you're on. You can put in your credit card information for the end of your trial, make any changes that you need. It's also where you manage your users, including both internal and inviting external users. You can set up your chart of accounts, all of your lists, and the other things that you see on this screen. We also have the magnifying glass, which is the search capability. So you come in here and you can do a search to see all about QuickBooks, the information in your QuickBooks Online database. If you don't find exactly what you want, the advanced search will take you to the next level where you can be much more specific about what you're searching for. So you can search by line item or by something in the memo field or things like that. Whereas in the general search bar, you're usually searching by a dollar amount, a date, or a transaction number. Now, the left bar is where we see all of our different types of information, and we can go in and we're going to get to all of the different types of transactions and different things that we need to do. And they can be organized based on customers, vendors, employees, and other kinds of things. So the different types of transactions that you need to do will fall under the different categories. So if, for example, if you want to do customer-related transactions, you would click on your sales. If you want to enter expenses or vendor-related transactions, you would click on expenses. When you go into banking, you will see a list of any bank account that you have connected for download. Or you will see your bank accounts, and if you have connected them for download, you're going to see their current update status. So the numbers here represent the number of transactions that have been downloaded that are waiting for you to review them. And you will get a list of all of those transactions, and you can either match them to transactions that you have already added in manually, so that you know that they're there. So you wrote a check, and now it's showing that your bank account is showing that you cleared it. That's why it's there for download. And then you would match it up. If you have transactions that you have not already entered, make sure that they're correct. Banks do make mistakes. And then you can add them in. Be careful not to add in transactions that are already in there. You always want to make sure you match them. And once you match, they will show up as, they will disappear from the original list, and this number will be reduced. If for any reason you think your system has not updated, it should update every evening. But if you think it hasn't and you want to refresh it, you can just click on your little update button over here, and it will automatically update the account. And you can switch which account you're working with by clicking on the tile for that account. You can also go directly to the register for that particular account by clicking on Go to Register. If there is a transaction you don't want to accept, for example, you already reconciled the bank account for that period and you hadn't downloaded the transaction, transactions can only be matched to transactions that are uncleared in your register. So if you already reconciled, you wouldn't be able to match it. You don't want to add it again because that will affect your balance incorrectly. So you can exclude it. But if you exclude something and then realize you meant to put it back, or if you accepted something and realize you need to change it, you have your reviewed and excluded tabs that you can go into and work with to change your information. When we go into our sales, we are going to have our overview, our all sales, invoices, customers, and our products and services. And if we go and we look at our customers, we're going to have a list of all of our customers. And so we can go in and we can add a new customer up at the top. We can set up our customers as customer types. You will see over to the right, we see the balance on the customer, but we could receive a payment directly on that customer or click on our drop down arrow and get other types of transactions that we want to do from there. If we open up the customer, we're going to see additional information about them. We also have an overview that are basically filtered tiles that we can click on, and they're going to show us the information. So I can see that I have 20 open invoices. Clients owe me $5,282. In the last 30 days, I've gotten 12 payments that total $3,136. I don't have any estimates outstanding, and I've got $750 that's not yet been billed. Well, maybe it's time for me to go bill those. So I have the ability to look at all of that kind of information. If I open up a customer, I will see that customer's specific information. I can click on edit to edit that client. I can add a new transaction of different types from here, or I can look at the different information related to that client, including a list of all of their transactions, etc. If I click on my edit button, I am going to see my customer information screen where I can fill in all of the information about my customer, including both their billing address and their shipping address. And if you're using sales tax, you generally want this shipping address filled in because that is what it uses to calculate sales tax. And then you can make a customer a sub-customer. You can do other things there. And you can also have other tabs. So if this client is tax exempt, you could go into the tax info and mark that they are tax exempt. If they pay in certain ways, or you want to limit how they pay, all kinds of specific things are available in here. If we go into our expenses, we are going to see our expenses and our vendors. Whoops. Go back. And it's going to be very much the same in terms of what we can see and do. We have our list of vendors, but for our vendors, we can put in our 1099 information and other information that's important for them. We can also put in the different types of expenses that we have and how we're paying our different vendors. So that's all available under the vendors. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can expand the functionality of QuickBooks. When you are in QuickBooks Online, if you click on the gear icon, one of the things you're going to see is the QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Labs, and that's where they're doing some testing. And those are features that you can try. It's not going to hurt your data at all, although sometimes they don't work quite as well as they should because they are still in development. But they are new features. Be aware also that they may not become permanent parts of the product, or they might. They invite you to provide your feedback on those. If there's something you really like, give them feedback so that you will know that it will come back. Chrome tabs and bookmarks are a great way to access the program and make more use of it. You can duplicate any Chrome tab that you are on. So if you are in QBO and you want to see two different things, you can right click on the tab at the top of the screen in Chrome and click duplicate, and then you can open another area of QBO and you can bookmark those specific ones to be able to go right back to that. The QuickBooks desktop app has been discontinued, but if you have it, you can continue to use it. It still works. The App Store for QuickBooks Online got a lot of power. It is accessible directly through the internet. If you guys type in QuickBooks apps, you will find it. Or within QuickBooks Online, through the gear icon, you can get to the apps. And then there is QBO available for your mobile devices like your phone. So those are available in the Apple Store and in the Google Play Store. This is the direct path to the App Store. When you come in, you can search for apps in a variety of different ways. If you know the app that you want, you can put that in directly, or else you can search by category. There are apps that are free, which you can get, depending on what you want. You can come in here and look around and see what is available to benefit your business. There is training available for QuickBooks at quickbooks.intuit.com/learn-support, as well as a number of things that have been created up on the web, on YouTube and things like that. If you just go out to YouTube and Google and put in search for QuickBooks Online, you will find lots and lots of resources. A number of those are by some of my fellow QuickBooks Pro advisors who I know and think have done a great job. Some of them may not be as good, but you can look and see what you think. If you find one and you're wondering if I know anything about that particular creator, you are welcome to email me. Just tell me you attended my SCORE presentation and you were wondering if so-and-so's webinars are any good, and I will be, or YouTube channel stuff is any good, and I will be happy to give you feedback. If you are a Spanish speaker, there are also people that are very good at teaching QBO in Spanish, and I believe have also created some YouTube stuff out there, and I can give you some names if that is something you need. So if you are an accountant or a bookkeeper, you can get the QuickBooks Online Accountant Edition. And there is an accountant test drive company, and we're going to just briefly touch on that, as well as some of the features and how to access it. So QBOA, which stands for QuickBooks Online Accountant Edition, as opposed to QuickBooks Online Advanced, which also could be QBOA, QBOA, bad choice of naming there. But for anyone who is an accountant or a bookkeeper, they can sign up and become a QuickBooks Pro Advisor through the Intuit website, and they can then get a QBOA account that provides central access to all of the client's QuickBooks Online company files. So if your clients invite you as an accountant, as opposed to as a general user, you would be able to go in through the special access. It has features that will help you manage your practice, as well as letting you manage your own firm's books. There are special tools for accountants only, some batch reclassification tools and things like that that the accountants can use on their clients' data. It is free to accountants and bookkeepers, and there is no extra charge for the QBO client user. So it would be, one of the two accountant firms allowed. So they can invite you very easily, instead of inviting you as a user and using up one of their user licenses. So to get QBOA, you pick an Intuit ID that you want. You can sign up at this website, and you will get invited in, and then you can invite your staff as team users, and you can set up permissions for the different companies. There is also, if you are using QBOA, there is also access to free QuickBooks Online training. And if you have a larger, as you get larger numbers of QuickBooks Online clients that are tied to your account, or accountant account, you actually get point levels, which gives you access to higher level support. So you get the higher level support by having more clients, and also by going in and taking the exams that are offered, which have great training materials. So you take the training materials and the exams, and if you pass the exams, you get designations and earn points to move up a level. And they're giving you better support because they are assuming that you know the basics and don't need to start at the bottom level of the support, somebody who is not as well educated about it. And it is free for QuickBooks Online. If you are an accountant and want to be a certified Pro Advisor on desktop, that does have a fee involved. But for QuickBooks Online, you can do the certification at no charge. You also can do centralized billing for your clients, and manage their subscriptions. And then you can, as I mentioned, use it for your own firm's bookkeeping. So it is available for both accountants and bookkeepers. To log in, you go to the same qbo.intuit.com. And if you are in QBOA, you will see some additional options, and you just choose which firm you want to open. If you open your own firm, you will tie into all of the ones you have been invited into. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for attending. Here is my website and my email address, and also my phone number. I am located in Fairfield, Connecticut. You are welcome to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to take questions. I do see we had a couple of questions in the chat panel, and I think I answered them in that last part of the presentation when I talked about QBOA. But if you have further questions or need some clarification on that, or have any questions on other topics, please put them in the chat. I was not looking, it looks like we also have some in the Q&A, so let me get in there.
Right, yeah, thanks, Caren. Let me read a couple of them to you. Very early on in the presentation, you said the desktop app no longer works. Is there no longer accessible from a desktop? I really don't want to look at spreadsheets on my phone.
Okay, so QuickBooks, so the QuickBooks desktop app, if you had it, it does still work, but if you did not have it, it doesn't work. You can't get it. But you don't need to look at QuickBooks from your phone unless you are using self-employed. You log into it using your browser. So using Chrome, you log in. So you're not looking at it on your phone, you're looking at it on your computer. It's just the desktop app was just it prevented you from having to log in actually to the browser. So
Yeah.
it just, for some people, was a time saver. And I can actually see the questions if you want me to
Okay.
just read them out.
Sure, go ahead.
So the next question is, I use 2013, so I'm assuming that's desktop. I paid for it once and it's fine. If I want to upgrade, do I have to pay monthly, or can I just get a disk to install on my computer and pay only once? I'm an S Corp and I might want to upgrade so I can use payroll. So if you want to use payroll, you do need to be on a supported version. If you go and you buy a plus version of QuickBooks Online, then that is a subscription you pay annually. If you go through a QuickBooks QuickBooks reseller or Pro Advisor who has a relation with a reseller, we can get you QuickBooks Desktop non-plus edition, which will be supported for 3 years and would work with your payroll. You do have to renew the payroll every year, but if you want to use QuickBooks Desktop, that would be a good option. QuickBooks Online, you do pay a monthly subscription cost. The next question is, you spoke about transitioning from online to desktop and vice versa. If you decided to stay within the online environment, could you transition from one level to the other, plus to advanced, etc.? Absolutely. Once you are on QuickBooks Online, you can upgrade your version and you can also downgrade your level. Obviously, if you downgrade, you are going to lose features that you had, but if you upgrade, all your data comes right over, and then you get the additional features and functionality. The next question was, if you use Shopify for an online business, can this dovetail inventory with it? So I know that there is an app that integrates with Shopify. I am not an expert on inventory, and I don't know whether it integrates at the inventory level or just at the sales level. If this is something that is important to you and you want to speak to someone who has expertise in inventory, reach out to me. Let me know, shoot me an email. Let me know it was from this presentation and you need to speak to someone who does inventory, and I will refer you over to one of my colleagues who is an expert in that area. The next one is, we currently use QuickBooks 2016. I know support is expiring. I may like to upgrade. Question 1 was, do I need to upgrade? And question 2, will QuickBooks Desktop Pro do the job? We have 2 small businesses and we also run our home stuff through QB. Very basic use. We also pay bills. So I would advise 2016 actually has expired. QuickBooks Desktop, they support the current version and 2 back, and the current version is 2021. New versions come out in September typically. So 2019, 20, and 21 are supported. I would recommend upgrading because with Windows 10 and security updates and things like that, you're going to have a better experience with a supported version. But again, you could go to, and if you want to download, you often need a supported version, like download your banking account links, all of that. But QuickBooks Desktop Pro is an excellent choice. It has a very good feature set. And one of the advantages to desktop over QuickBooks Online is with QuickBooks Desktop, you don't have to pay for additional company files. Whereas with QuickBooks Online, you do pay for each company file, although there are discounts available if you have multiple company files that you set up at one time. But with desktop, you could have your 2 files, but you do want to be careful that you buy a non-plus version of QuickBooks Desktop so that you don't have to upgrade every single year. Someone asked, am I going to go over how to set up sales tax? I had not planned on doing that just because it's a bit complex, and but it is something that I could provide training for you individually. So reach out to me and we could set up a session that would be billable, but it wouldn't take a very long time. And I think that's the most effective way to do it. Or you can go out to YouTube and look for videos related directly to QuickBooks Online and sales tax, or QuickBooks Desktop and sales tax, depending on what you need. The next person said, I heard QuickBooks is no longer accessible via Mac platform. Is this true? Well, if you are using QuickBooks Online, then it doesn't matter what platform you're running. It will run, and it does run on Safari, but as I said, Chrome is the recommended browser. But QuickBooks Desktop, there is a Mac version, and it has been upgraded in recent years and is still being sold and supported. So there is a QuickBooks for Mac if you want a desktop version. It is not as feature rich as QuickBooks Desktop for Windows or as QuickBooks Online, because they have a much harder time doing integrations into QuickBooks for Mac because of limitations of the Mac environment. It's a much more locked down environment. Let's see. Can I recommend a reseller for QuickBooks Desktop Pro 2021, no subscription? I don't want to put it on the, I'm not going to say it out in the chat, but if you email me, I will link you in with a reseller and help you get the non-subscription version. So please just email me to Caren@timeandsense.com. And I will be happy to provide that information to you. I just don't want to put names and phone numbers and stuff for other people out on this recording, as that information can change over time or whatever. So I think it's better to do it specifically one-on-one. That, I think, is all the questions that I see at this time.
Yeah, Caren, that's great. The Pro Advisor on QuickBooks, then, I mean, the typical use then is you would go to them if you were initially setting up and you want to get advice on the best functionality to get out of the QuickBooks, rather than me spending 100 hours trying to figure it out myself. You guys will know the right tools that I would need for my type of business then.
Right. We can also help you set up the file correctly and provide training. You know, one of the things QuickBooks used to advertise as anyone can do it. Well, I always expanded that to say anyone can do it wrong. Because while it is an easy to use program, if you don't really understand accounting and you don't understand the basics of QuickBooks, whether it's online or desktop, you may do things wrong, and that's not going to benefit you. So spending an hour or two with a consultant, I think, is generally well worth it, because they can help you make sure things are set up correctly and in the right buckets, which is going to save you time, whether you do your own tax returns or whether you work with an accountant. And in many cases, accountants will help. You know, your accountant may be the Pro Advisor who's going to help you set it up.
Great. Thanks, Caren. It's all the time we have for questions. As a reminder, a recording of this webinar is available within a couple of days on the Fairfield County Score website. Please check our website for information on upcoming events. Again, SCORE offers free individual counseling, so please use the link on the screen. Do you have the last page up there by any chance, or is there a last page? In any event, we're available for sessions via phone, email, or video. Please fill out your evaluations that have been sent at the end of the webinar. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's SCORE live webinar. In closing today, a big thank you to Caren Schwartz. Thanks, Caren. That was great.
My pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for attending. I hope you benefited.